What if the biggest headlines of the day are just, the tip of the iceberg, hinting at these deeper currents shaping our world?
That's exactly the question we try to tackle.
Welcome to the deep dive. We've scoured a huge range of global news sources, everything from geopolitics to, well, the farthest reaches of science.
And we're here to unpack the most crucial bits for you.
Our mission, really, is simple. Connect the dots, try to reveal that bigger picture, give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed.
And hopefully keep you engaged with some surprising facts and good conversation without it feeling overwhelming.
Exactly. So today we'll be diving into some incredible discoveries from space, pushing scientific boundaries right here on Earth.
And then we'll get into the high-stakes diplomacy in Washington, D.C., USA, across Europe, the evolving global economy. A lot to cover.
But always focusing on clarity, balance, and really understanding the why behind the news.
Precisely. We aim to be your guides through today's most significant developments.
All right, let's jump straight into the cosmos then. The James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, seems to have dropped another bombshell discovery.
Oh, absolutely. This one has astrophysicists seriously buzzing.
What's that?
It's pretty mind-bending stuff.
Okay, hit me with it. I saw headlines about living in a black hole, no escape. That sounds like pure science fiction.
Slight chuckle. It does, doesn't it? But the JWST data is compelling. What's fascinating is how this challenges existing astronomical theories. It sparked huge new discussions about the actual structure of our universe.
So it's not just some fringe theory. This is based on Webb's observations.
Exactly. The telescope was designed to peer deeper into space and time than ever before, and it keeps throwing these curveballs. The data suggests this possibility, that maybe our entire observable universe is inside a black hole.
Wow, okay. That's a lot to process, so no escape route.
That's the implication of this particular interpretation of the data. It could fundamentally rewrite cosmology, our understanding of space, time, existence itself. It really stretches the imagination.
Understatement of the year. Okay, bringing it slightly closer to home, relatively speaking, Mars. NASA's Curiosity rover is still plugging away up there.
Still hard at work. Curiosity is currently doing some very detailed analysis on Martian bedrock.
What's it looking for this time?
It's in a low-lying area called a hollow, within a geological feature known as the boxwork region. Scientists are really interested in the texture and chemistry here, hoping for clues about past water.
And it has tools for that, right? Like a little geology kit.
It does. It's using its APXS instrument, that's the alpha particle X-ray spectrometer, to get chemical data from a target rock called a Siracucha.
Oh, okay.
And its MAHLI camera, the Mars Hand Lens Imager, is getting close-up shots of this interesting crescent-shaped rock they've named Wedge-tailed Hill Star.
Cool name.
They always have good names. Plus, the ChemCam is zapping another target, Kamanchaka, for more chemical analysis. It's all about building that detailed picture.
So painstaking work. What happens after this spot?
It'll drive over to an intriguing ridge feature nearby and keep up its regular atmospheric monitoring, too, tracking those Martian seasons. It's all part of that long game of searching for signs of ancient habitability.
Incredible. And thinking about humans potentially going to Mars, that brings up the whole food situation, right? How do you feed people on a multi-year trip?
That's a huge challenge, and exactly what NASA's Deep Space Food Challenge is trying to tackle. It's about spurring innovation for these long-duration missions.
Any winners or promising ideas coming out of that?
Definitely. Interstellar Labs' Nucleoha system won a prize. It grows microgreens and other sustainable foods in a controlled system. Really important for nutrition and, morale.
Fresh food in space, imagine that.
Right. And there were other cool finalists, too. Team Sated designed a cooking appliance that creates artificial gravity, might make cooking less messy and more normal.
Huh, interesting.
And Team Nolux developed a way to grow food using artificial photosynthesis, even without sunlight. Think about habitats that might be underground or shielded.
Wow. And these aren't just for space, are they?
That's the key point. These technologies have huge potential back here on Earth. Sustainable food production, vertical farms, disaster relief.
Yeah.
It pushes sustainable agriculture forward for everyone.
That's fantastic. So the tech for living there is developing. What about actually landing there or on the moon first? How do astronauts train for that? Simulators?
Simulators are crucial, but NASA's also adding more real-world, hands-on training. They've partnered with the U.S. Army National Guard up in northern Colorado, USA.
Colorado. Why there?
The terrain is rugged, good for simulating certain aspects. They use military helicopters, specially modified, to practice flight and landing procedures under simulated lunar conditions.
Like what specifically?
Things like the moon's really harsh lighting, those super sharp shadows, and navigating around deep craters. It gives them experience you just can't perfectly replicate in a simulator.
Makes sense. You need that real-world feel. What about launch conditions? I saw something about night launch practice.
Yes, that's critical too. For the Artemis II mission crew, astronauts Christina Koch and Victor Glover recently did intensive night launch practice at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, USA.
What does that involve? Just doing things in the dark?
Pretty much, but highly choreographed. Practicing getting into their spacesuits in low light, running through emergency evacuation protocols, all under simulated night conditions. It's essential for safety on missions that might not launch in broad daylight.
Every detail matters. And staying healthy up there is paramount. Bone health is a big one, right?
A huge issue. Astronauts lose bone density in microgravity. So, the upcoming SpaceX resupply mission to the International Space Station, the ISS, is carrying a really important investigation.
What's it looking at?
It's focusing specifically on how microgravity affects the cells responsible for forming bone and the cells responsible for breaking it down. Understanding that balance is key.
So this research, could it actually help people back on Earth with bone problems, like osteoporosis?
That's absolutely the hope, and a great example of those dual benefits. Findings from this could lead to new therapies for age-related bone conditions that affect millions. So it helps astronauts heading to the moon and Mars and potentially improves healthcare right here.
Amazing. While we're looking out there, NASA also keeps a close eye on our own planet, right? Monitoring Earth from orbit.
Constantly. The NASA Soil Moisture Active Passive Mission, SEA-MAE, has been doing it for over a decade now.
SMAP. What does it track?
Soil moisture, globally. It provides incredibly precise data that's vital for things like predicting droughts, assessing flood risks, and improving our climate forecasts. It's really fundamental data for understanding the global water cycle.
And does it influence other space programs?
It does. It sets a strong precedent for initiatives like the European Union's Copernicus program, which has similar goals for comprehensive Earth observation.
Is this kind of work usually collaborative internationally?
Very much so. For example, the U.S. and Japan work together on the ASTER instrument, Advanced Spaceborne Thermal Emission and Reflection Radiometer. It's on NASA's Terra satellite. They just had their 54th science team meeting in Tokyo.
What do they discuss at meetings like that?
Budgets, inevitably. Potential NASA funding cuts were on the table. Also, data acquisition strategies and planning for the eventual end of life of the Terra satellite itself.
And ASTER's data is used for?
All sorts of things. Monitoring volcanoes, tracking wildfires, general environmental assessments. It's a really versatile instrument.
It's great that these tools exist, but how do you get the next generation excited about all this? Space science can seem pretty remote.
That's a crucial question. Outreach is key. Look at the University of Alaska Fairbanks Geophysical Institute. They have a portable planetarium.
Oh, neat, like an inflatable dome.
Exactly. They take it to students all across Alaska, especially in remote areas. It's a fantastic way to foster curiosity, connecting ancient human skywatching traditions with modern science. Makes it tangible and exciting.
That's a wonderful initiative, bringing the universe to the classroom. Okay, let's shift from the cosmos to technology closer to home, starting with software. Looks like Microsoft is tweaking Windows 11's dark mode.
Yes, finally addressing a common annoyance. They're adding dark mode support for some of those older legacy file operation dialog boxes. You know, the ones that pop up in File Explorer.
Ah, the ones that would suddenly flash white.
Precisely. It broke the immersion for dark mode users.
Yeah.
So this should make the whole interface feel more cohesive and visually consistent. A small change, but a welcome one for many.
Definitely. Now, from software to hardware, very advanced hardware. The first World Humanoid Games were held in Beijing, China. Robots sprinting and boxing.
It happened. It was quite the showcase. Robots sprinting, boxing, even playing football. It really highlights the rapid advancements.
I saw some clips. It's impressive, maybe a little unnerving. Are they coming for our sports next?
Slight chuckle. Well, maybe not next week.
Yeah.
But it does show the potential applications, right? Think self-driving vehicles, healthcare, logistics. These robots are getting incredibly capable.
What's driving this leap forward? AI.
Absolutely. Advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning are the key enablers. But as you hinted, it raises big questions. Ethical considerations, the impact on jobs, how we integrate them into society safely.
It's not just about can they do it, but should they and how?
Exactly. The games were a glimpse into a future where humanoid robots could play a much bigger role, raising both excitement and some really important societal discussions we need to have.
Speaking of future tech and big societal needs,
Hmm.
energy, Google's getting into nuclear power. That feels like a big step for a tech company.
It's a massive move. Google's partnering with Kairos Power to build an advanced modular nuclear reactor in Tennessee, USA. It should be operational by 2030.
Why nuclear?
Data centers. Google's data centers, especially with the rise of generative AI, are incredibly power-hungry. They need vast amounts of reliable, clean energy.
So this is part of their green energy strategy.
A core part of it, yes. Procuring nuclear energy fits their goal for cleaner solutions. It's a significant investment aimed at tackling the huge energy footprint of modern tech infrastructure.
Okay, from the cutting edge of future tech, let's journey way back into the past. Archaeology has had a fascinating discovery in Romania, hidden in a forest.
Yes, a really cool story showcasing how technology helps us uncover history. Archaeologists found a 5,000-year-old fortress in Neon County, Romania.
5,000 years old. How is it hidden for so long?
Dense forest cover, but they used LiDAR technology, light detection and ranging.
LiDAR, that's the laser mapping thing, right?
Exactly. It sends out laser pulses and measures the reflections to create incredibly detailed 3D maps of the ground surface. Crucially, it can penetrate vegetation.
So it lets them see through the trees.
Essentially, yes. It reveals subtle bumps and dips in the ground that show where human-made structures are, even if they're totally overgrown. Something traditional digging might completely miss or take ages to find.
Amazing. So what did they find at this fortress?
It dates back to the transition between the late Neolithic and early Bronze Age, a really important period. And its impressive, large defensive ditches, earthen mounds.
Suggests a well-organized society.
Very much so. The preliminary findings point towards a sophisticated structure, advanced farming, maybe even trade networks. It gives us fantastic insights into these early European populations, how they lived, defended themselves. It really enriches our picture of that era.
Now let's turn to some of Earth's major challenges, climate and natural disasters. There's new research on methane emissions, uncovering a hidden factor.
Yes, from the University of California, Berkeley. It challenges how we track methane, which is a really potent greenhouse gas, as you know.
What's the hidden factor?
It has to do with the microbes that produce methane methanogens.
Yeah.
We usually analyze the methane's isotopic signature to figure out where it came from, based on what the microbes ate.
Right.
But this research shows a key enzyme in these microbes means the signature is also affected by environmental conditions, like temperature, and how the microbes themselves react. It's not just the food source.
How did they figure that out?
Using CRISPR gene editing technology, they actually manipulated the enzyme's activity in the lab and showed it directly changed the methane's isotopic signature.
Wow. So what are the implications?
It means our current estimates of methane sources might need reevaluation. It could reshape our understanding of its role in climate change and push us to develop more accurate ways to track emissions. It's fundamental science with big policy relevance.
Definitely something to watch. Okay, turning to immediate weather threats. Hurricane Erin heading for the U.S. East Coast. Sounds serious.
Very serious. It strengthened back to a Category 4 storm at one point. The main concern now seems to be these potentially extraordinary waves. Some forecasts mention waves over 100 feet.
100 feet? That's terrifying, like a moving cliff.
It's an almost unimaginable amount of water energy. Evacuation orders are already out for the North Carolina Outer Banks. And this is happening in what's predicted to be an above-normal hurricane season overall. Coastal communities really need to be prepared.
No kidding, a 100-foot wave is just... yeah. Stay safe, folks. Meanwhile, other parts of the U.S. are facing different kinds of severe weather.
That's right. Minnesota, for instance, is dealing with severe thunderstorms and serious flash flood warnings. Heavy rain causing major flooding threats there.
And sadly, devastating floods have hit Pakistan again.
Tragically, yes. Especially in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Over 300 confirmed dead, over 200 missing. The rainfall has been 50–60% above last year's levels, which were already high.
And that hinders rescue efforts, I imagine.
Severely. Reports say 12 villages in the Buner district were just completely destroyed. It's a horrific reminder of the region's increasing vulnerability to these climate-related disasters. Over 650 lives were lost just last monsoon season in 2023.
Just awful. And wildfires continue to be a major problem in Europe.
Yes, particularly in Spain and Portugal. Intensifying fires have tragically killed 2 more people recently. Spain has deployed more troops. About 1,900 military personnel are now fighting the blazes there.
What's driving these intense fires?
It's that dangerous mix. Extreme heat, prolonged drought conditions, it creates a tinderbox. Firefighters are really struggling to gain control. It's another stark sign of climate change impacts.
Okay, let's pivot now to global economics and business shifts, starting with an inspiring story from Bahrain, empowering entrepreneurs.
Yes, this is really positive. It features two women, Ivan Farid of brown sugar baking and Noura Khalid Musaifer of Malawal spices. They're transforming their respective businesses.
How did they get started or supported?
They received crucial support from an NGO called CUF Humanitarian. This included training in business management, marketing, branding, the practical skills you need.
That's fantastic.
And it's more than just individual success stories, If you connect it to the bigger picture, they're challenging traditional gender roles in Bahrain's economy. It aligns perfectly with sustainable development goals about gender equality and economic growth. Real empowerment happening.
Great to hear. Shifting to real estate, Dubai's market seems to be red hot.
It really is booming. The CEO of a major developer, Murad, outlined the key drivers recently. Increased foreign investment is a big one. Lots of confidence there.
What else?
Favorable government policies, a growing expat community needing housing, tourism bouncing back strongly, and continuous infrastructure projects making the city more attractive. It all comes together.
Is Hong Kong seeing a similar boom, or is it different there?
Hong Kong's residential market is recovering, but it's driven more by closer integration with mainland China. More mainland professionals and students are moving there, boosting demand.
So rental prices are stabilizing.
They are, which is good news for the residential side, but the commercial sector offices, retail is still struggling with high vacancy rates, so it's a bit of a mixed recovery picture in Hong Kong.
Got it. Now, the airline industry seems to be hitting some turbulence with labor issues. Air Canada strike.
Yes, a major disruption for them. They've had to suspend restart plans, even pull back profit forecasts because of an ongoing flight attendant strike.
And the attendants are defying a back-to-work order.
They are. Their union, CUPE, argues the order is unconstitutional and wants to renegotiate. It's grounding a lot of flights, affecting thousands of passengers. It really highlights those tensions in essential service industries.
Meanwhile, Qantas in Australia got hit with a massive fine.
A huge one. $90 million, which is around US $59 million. It was for illegally dismissing 1,800 ground staff during the pandemic and replacing them with contractors.
And the money goes too.
A large chunk, $50 million, is going to the Transport Workers Union to compensate the dismissed employees. A very clear message from the court about following labor laws, even in a crisis.
Interesting. In corporate news, MSNBC is rebranding, losing the peacock.
That's the plan. It's going to be called MSNOW, and yes, dropping the iconic peacock logo. It's part of its separation from Comcast.
Why the change?
It signals a major shift in branding strategy. They're likely trying to attract a new, perhaps younger audience and redefine their focus in a really crowded news market, trying to carve out a new identity.
And for investors navigating the markets, HSBC has some advice. Move away from the big tech stocks.
Their chief multi-asset strategist, Max Kettner, is advocating an equal-weight S&P 500 strategy. Basically, shift away from being heavily concentrated in those magnificent 7 tech giants.
Towards broader diversification.
Exactly. Spread the risk, look for quality investments across the board. It's seen as a more resilient approach in the current, possibly changing economic climate.
Makes sense. What about big pharma? Abbott Laboratories, are they positioned for growth?
Financial analysts seem to think so. Reports suggest Abbott has the capacity to take on more debt safely without risking financial stability.
Which they could use for.
Potentially for aggressive product development or market expansion. It reflects a broader trend where financially sound companies strategically use debt to fuel growth, especially in R&D-heavy sectors like pharma.
And the exclusive Soho House club chain got acquired.
It did, for about £2 billion. It's going back to private ownership. And interestingly, actor Ashton Kutcher has joined the board.
Oh, does that signal anything?
It could indicate a shift in strategy. Maybe marketing? Kutcher's involved in tech and venture capital too, so perhaps a move to refresh the brand or target a slightly different membership base.
Fascinating. Let's jump to India now. Major economic reforms happening there, especially with taxes.
Huge reforms. India is overhauling its goods and services tax, the GST. They're moving from a complicated 4-tier structure to a much simpler 2-tier one, 5% and 18%.
What's the goal?
To lower taxes on the vast majority of goods, about 99%. The hope is this will significantly boost domestic consumption, especially kicking in around the major Diwali festival season in October.
Is it also related to U.S. tariffs?
It's partly seen as a way to offset potential challenges from U.S. tariffs on Indian imports, yes, by boosting internal demand. Projections suggest it could add about 0.6% to GDP growth annually, despite an estimated $20 billion hit to government revenue. A bold move.
And India is also considering tariffs of its own on steel.
Yes, they've proposed import tariffs on certain steel products for 3 years. This is a direct response to a big surge in steel imports that's threatening their domestic industry.
Why the surge?
They're concerned about global steel volumes piling up elsewhere, especially after the U.S. imposed its own hefty 50% tariffs. India feels it needs to protect its own producers from that overflow.
All right, let's explore some societal issues and cultural insights. Language first. The Cambridge Dictionary added 6,000 new terms, including skibidi and delulu.
Slight chuckle.
It did.
It really shows how fast language evolves, doesn't it?
I feel simultaneously out of touch and surprisingly current knowing those. What does this huge update tell us?
It's a fantastic snapshot of modern culture. Skibidi came straight from that viral YouTube series. Delulu is pure internet slang for delusional. It shows the massive influence of online culture.
But it's not all internet speak, right?
Not at all. You also see terms like tradwife, reflecting discussions about traditional gender roles, or Luke and inspo from fashion and social media. And then something serious like forever chemical points to growing environmental awareness.
So language is really adapting constantly to everything tech, culture, science.
Exactly. It's a living mirror of our changing society and concerns.
Speaking of culture and changing norms, Dame Helen Mirren had some thoughts on James Bond.
She did. Despite identifying as a feminist, she stated pretty clearly that she believes James Bond has to be a guy.
And that sparked debate, I imagine.
Oh, immediately. It reignited that whole discussion about gender representation in iconic, historically male roles versus being true to the original character's identity. It's complex, even within feminist viewpoints.
Definitely a conversation that keeps coming up. Moving to public health, there's a serious warning about a resurgent disease.
Yes, experts are sounding the alarm. A disease that was thought to be largely contained is apparently back with a vengeance.
Why? What happened?
The primary cause cited is a severe lack of adequate aid and sustained public health efforts in the affected areas. Officials are warning that without immediate intervention, many lives are at risk.
A reminder of how fragile progress can be without continued support.
Absolutely. It highlights the need for ongoing global resources and rapid response to prevent localized problems from becoming major crises.
On a more hopeful health note, a potential breakthrough in vision correction, something non-invasive.
This sounds really promising. It's
Yeah.
called electromechanical reshaping, or EMR. The idea is to reshape the cornea without any cuts, unlike LASIK.
How does it work? With electricity?
Essentially, yes. Applying a controlled electric potential changes the tissue's pH slightly, causing it to reshape. Early research on rabbit eyes showed it could effectively correct nearsightedness.
Could it be a real alternative to LASIK?
If it pans out in human trials, it could be cheaper, possibly more accessible, and maybe even reversible. A potential game changer for millions.
Wow. Okay, shifting gears again, sadly, to air safety in Africa. There seems to be a crisis brewing.
There are very serious concerns. Recent fatal crashes are increasingly being blamed on human error, systemic neglect, and a poor safety culture, rather than just mechanical failures.
Are there specific examples?
Yes, tragically. A Ghanaian military helicopter crash killed 8. A Kenyan air ambulance crash killed 6. These aren't isolated incidents, experts say.
So what's the solution?
There are urgent calls for much stronger enforcement of existing safety standards and stricter adherence to international regulations across the continent to rebuild confidence and prevent more tragedies.
Critical issue. Let's turn to justice and crime stories making headlines. A serious case involving the Norwegian royal family.
Yes, this is drawing a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Marius Borg Høiby, the son of Crown Princess Mette-Marit, has been formally charged with multiple very serious offenses, including rape allegations involving 4 women, domestic violence, and making death threats. He could face up to 10 years in prison if convicted. It's a major case testing the principle of equal justice.
Indeed. And in New York City, a report on payouts for police misconduct.
A report from the Legal Aid Society found NYC taxpayers paid out over $77 million in settlements just in the first half of this year for police and prosecutorial misconduct lawsuits.
$77 million in 6 months.
Yes, covering nearly 600 cases, things like wrongful arrests, improper prosecutions. It raises serious questions about accountability and the integrity of the justice system there.
Definitely fuels the debate around police reform. Elsewhere, a Maoist attack in India.
Yes, in Chhattisgarh state, a member of the District Reserve Guard was killed, 2 others injured, when an IED planted by Maoists detonated during an operation. It highlights the ongoing insurgency challenges India faces in certain regions.
And a shooting in London that injured a child?
A very disturbing case. Javon Riley was convicted for his role in a shooting at an East London restaurant where a 9-year-old girl was wounded. It sparked intense discussions about gun violence and public safety.
Just awful. And a tragic boat accident in Nigeria.
Yes, in Sokoto State, over 40 people are missing. At least 10 confirmed dead after a boat capsized. It was reportedly carrying about 50 people, overloaded with traders and motorcycles. These kinds of accidents are tragically common due to overcrowding and lack of safety measures.
Heartbreaking. There was also a confrontation during a BBC interview in the West Bank.
Yes, a very tense moment. A BBC crew interviewing a Palestinian farmer was attacked by masked Israeli settlers who disrupted the scene. It vividly highlighted the ongoing tensions and violence faced by Palestinians there.
Shows the risks journalists take, too. In the UK, sentences expected for disorder at an asylum hotel.
2 men were warned by a court to expect prison time for violent disorder at an asylum hotel. It underscores the tensions that can arise around asylum accommodations and the complexities of managing migration flows.
And rapper Sean Kingston, sentenced for fraud.
He received 42 months in federal prison for a U.S. $1 million fraud scheme. He apparently used his celebrity status and fake wire receipts to defraud luxury vendors. A reminder that fame doesn't grant immunity from the law.
Finally, a quick resolution to a security scare in Times Square.
Yes. NYPD reopened Times Square relatively quickly after investigating a suspicious device. Swift action to ensure public safety in a very high-profile, busy area.
Good to hear. Let's wrap up with some sports stories that have broader context. Racism in football continues to be a major issue.
Unfortunately, yes. Wayne Rooney, manager of DC United, shared a really moving story about one of his players crying after experiencing racial abuse. He's calling for much stronger anti-racism education.
And there was a stadium ban issued.
Yes. Separately, a man was banned from all UK football stadiums for racially abusing footballer Antoine Semenyo. It shows ongoing efforts to combat it, but also that the problem sadly persists.
A unique matchup at the US Open tennis tournament. Brits playing Brits.
Kind of. British number ones Emma Raducanu and Jack Draper are actually teaming up to play mixed doubles together. An interesting and highly anticipated pairing for British tennis fans.
Ah, okay. And quick results from MLB, NFL, and cricket.
Sure. In recent MLB games, the Dodgers beat the Padres, Phillies topped the Nationals, Marlins defeated the Red Sox, and the Mets won against the Mariners competitive games. In NFL preseason, the Chicago Bears looked dominant, shutting out the Buffalo Bills 38-0, with rookie Caleb Williams having a strong debut. And in the Asia Cup T20s cricket, there was a focus on great fielding, highlighting the top catchers, emphasizing how crucial athleticism is in that format.
Lastly, Germany's top football league, the Bundesliga, facing some challenges.
It seems so. They're struggling to hold on to top talent, with players like Florian Wirtz moving to England's Premier League. The Bundesliga is lagging behind England and Spain in revenue and attendance.
Raising concerns about its competitiveness.
Exactly. There are worries about its overall prestige and ability to compete financially with the other top European leagues long-term.
Well, we certainly covered a lot of ground today in this deep dive.
We really have, from the vastness of space and potential black hole habitats,
right down to the complexities of international diplomacy in Washington, the human cost of conflict and displacement.
the innovations in technology, the echoes from archaeology, the urgent challenges of climate change.
And the intricate dynamics of the global economy and societal shifts reflected even in our language.
It really underscores how interconnected everything is, doesn't it? A scientific discovery can have implications for health on Earth. A political decision ripples through markets globally.
It truly is a tapestry. So, as we leave you today, think about the connections you're seeing in the news around you. How do these different threads potentially weave together?
How might today's events, big and small, shape the world we'll be living in tomorrow? Keep asking those questions. Stay curious.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you.